Creation, right back here still on the voice of nature. To all creations, perfect peace. We are heading to the next review, which is on intellectual property. We might be wondering why we have this on here, but I keep telling us again and again that for the complete nature system to be preserved, protected, and promoted, it's very important and necessary that we have all these aforementioned segmentations addressed and worked on in earnest. Now here, what do we have to do under this segment on intellectual property? Firstly, let's check on the meaning of intellectual property. In summary, this is commonly refers to creations of the mind, which conventionally is further categorized or calibrated into types. We have the patents, right? We have trademarks and trade secrets, industrial design, geographical indication, copyright, etc. So when we talk about mind creations on our own terms here, it connotes much than this, because there are still yet more to be expressed and discovered by the human minds. Still more various or diverse of innate endowment, naturally acquired deposits or drops of ideas per less than seconds is continually into human consciousness by nature. But here is our ongoing problems and frustration as we speak. Do we know that millions and thousands of these natural reservoirs of ideas, great brains, and whatever are roaming our different streets, wasting away by the day in search of wrong jobs? Maybe due to the frustration of lack of force, spiritual. This is why you're listening, that we need to know this, that nature has already given us this. Spiritual bait natural, don't forget. Okay, and talk about moral and financial support, which now has to do with our different platforms and institution domain that's supposed to see to this. So I mean, as we speak, diverse minds creations of ideas that can not only power and sustain both domestic economy but global economy are wasting daily for so many reasons. So many endowed, gifted, talented craftsmanship and technically inclined creations are wasting so much latent and visible potential. I said, head-shaking ideas are roaming the street in search of wrong jobs. While in them they are the employers of labor, they are actually the people that should create jobs, but they are roaming. They are just waiting to excel. They are just waiting to be triggered by the right approach, and this is done. And all these hungers in the land problem will be a thing of the past. Some are even in the dungeon as we speak, wasting still for frustration of lack of proper and honest developmental schemes and platforms that should enhance these innate potentials or creations. So creations, in reviewing this, you should, and we know that these phenomenal deficiencies have led many to degenerate lifestyle and unscrupulous act. Meanwhile, these are carriers of greatness, like I said, potential legends in different fields of inventions and innovation. So the resultant effects are what we are seeing isn't promoting anything. Even being the mother nature is not happy. So creations now are concerned here is on natural mind creations. That's our focus, not random skills, acquisitions, land or trade or whatever. Though, you know, when nature deposits something, it can further be enhanced by other physical trainings. But what we are saying is innate. That's our focus. Innate, inborn, naturally gifted. These ideas that are from you, you're not copying from anywhere. It's directly dropped into your mind or our mind. So that is our focus here under intellectual property here on our project or mission. So moreover, let's know something here, that in each natural location, I did say this before, nature naturally has shared and continuously deposit or drops this diverse developmental consciousness on the innate of different human persons for the development of these industrial resources or material natures. So in each particular location, there are these ideas and there are these custodians. Nature has naturally programmed these developmental processes. All we need is to be conscious about these natural schemes of things and harness them accordingly. Both the material nature, which are the natural resources, and their physical custodians or persons, which are those that are being embedded or gifted, or endowed with all these ideas, and the immaterials, which are these ideas itself, the technical, or what we conventionally refers to the technological know-how, are all here naturally. Now, creations, for example, back in my childhood days, there used to be this geographical indication, sometimes I call it design, called Akwete, in Nigeria here, and those from Aba location or Abia descent, will know what I'm talking about, purely indigenous. I don't know if that location are still announcing that intellectual property as of now, but we know surely if that is on and is empowered honestly, that IP by now should have evolved, because that is what this idea does. When this idea comes into a certain location or nation or race or whatever, you have to allow an idea to have this process of revolving and evolving, and by then it's getting bigger. Things will come into, he keeps addressing and nurturing this idea, and it will blossom into many things, into big industrial community, into big companies with industrial design and all that will now attract many other external or international trade affiliations or collaboration that will now naturally create jobs opportunities for the dwellers of both that location and even the surrounding neighborhood or environment. So that is what we are saying. Whenever these natural concepts are not in practical terms harnessed accordingly, worked in, empowered, supported, promoted, there must be hardship, hunger, poverty, lack of job, deficiency, and many other frustrating developments in the land. Why? The natural programming and provision is dormant both in man and the environment, is untapped. So why won't people go hungry? So when we are talking about poverty alleviation or whatever thing we are looking at, we have to work on the natural environment, the indigenous. That is the provision as far as this earth is concerned. And we have to also empower the ideas drop that are meant to develop this place. So nothing will actually work that will drive development for such a place when this whole thing are in shambles. So for one, we know that humans are the first natural and greatest resources here on earth. For in man, ideas are embedded, which is actually they are to transform all this material nature for man's and society's advancements. And we all know that one of the greatest assets of nations are manpower as well. That's the natural vehicles used to balance the tangible and the intangible. These are the producers and drivers of sustainable economy. So when we talk about poverty alleviation, don't exclude nature preservation and reservoirs. So nature is all encompassing. On this rationale, we could see that it's then expedient to protect, promote, and preserve nature, the mother of all existences, of all the tangibles and intangibles, the material and immaterial potentials. So creation, you can see we have to reason through all this. This is a must do. They are worth doing and we need to do them. So we should and must relent in getting it right. So having almost driving to an end of our review, we needed to do this to understand where we are heading. So permit me for now to check back the outer wall. I'm signing out, returning shortly.